Do you hear it? The call, the signal to help make this world a better place. The call to awaken within the dream. The call to connect, to share from your heart, to find the others, to become who you are here to be. A shifter, a light worker, a light guardian, a steward of this earth, its people, and the futures still to come. Do you hear it? The universe, the magic, the path, the mythos. It speaks to you. Remember who you are, because now is the time. Aloha, shifters, light workers, light guardians, welcome and thank you so much for joining in for Paradigm Shift Radio Live Stage, our first episode of this beautiful new format that we get to explore and discover as a team. Thank you everyone for being here, and of course I am joined by my fellow amazing leading members live on stage with me to begin with. So fellow leading members, let's make some noise, welcome everybody, and show some love. Go ahead and gently unmute your microphones as we say hello and make some noise. Welcome everybody, we love you guys. Woo, 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 woo. Beautiful, awesome. Thank you again everyone so much for joining in as we get ready to move right into our broadcast here with this new format, Paradigm Shift Radio Live Stage. And what makes this different, this is something that we're trying out for the first time, where what it's going to be opening up the discussion for people in the audience to be able to join on air with us, to be able to practice stepping on stage, to be able to practice sharing inspiration relative to shifting consciousness, relative to being able to help inspire people to choose to be the change that they wish to see in this world. So if you're tuned in on YouTube right now and you would like to be able to join on stage, all you have to do is be able to connect to our Discord server, and through there you will find in the left hand column the Paradigm Shift Radio Live Stage, and in there you can raise your hand to be able to speak on stage, and we'll invite you in a little bit later to be able to speak on stage. At this point you're welcome to just kind of like hang out in the YouTube and just enjoy the vibe of what it is that we're creating here as a community, and we'll let you guys know when it's time for you to be able to speak on stage. And again, with this topic of what it is that we're moving in here tonight, this is really exciting for us to be able to try this new format. And again, it's one of the things that I really like about the fact is we've been doing a lot of back end work within the community to be able to help make it as best as possible for this for the evolving times, and the fact that this new format for this broadcast just happened to land on Earth Day. So happy Earth Day, happy new Earth Day to everybody here. Sending you guys so much love as fellow light workers, light guardians, shifters, and stewards of this new earth. Can you feel the magic moving through us? So beautiful. So we'll do a quick little introduction, and then we'll get into a little bit of a meditation, and then from there we're going to go around the talking stick on the stage and inviting our fellow leading members to be able to share a little bit about who they are, how they're helping assist with the shifting consciousness. And I also want to be able to dial it into the question of what does it mean to you to be a spiritual being? And what I mean by that is, like, what does that entail? What responsibility does that entail? What journey does that evoke within us? The idea of creating this ongoing self-awareness to be able to help not only understand that we are a spiritual being, but we are part of a world that in itself is innately spiritual and therefore innately connected to it, and have a place within it to not only be able to show up for ourselves, but for our community and for the collective and for the future still to come. So if you're interested in even just being able to speak on stage a little bit later, you don't fully have to decide just yet, but if you're curious about it, just be able to get a quick read on the audience, go ahead and drop a 777 into the chat. And again, from there we'll do a quick little introduction for the project. I'll let you just kind of know who the fellow leading members that we have on air. Then we'll do a quick little meditation, and then from there we will get right into the core of our discussion, and we'll keep this broadcast probably no more than 2 hours. So For those of you who may be new to this, Paradigm Shift Central, this is a project that I began way back in 2009 to be able to help encourage people to choose to be the change they wish to see. Through there, it kind of evolved, and it's really about building this global team of shifters, of light guardians. And within this project, as it currently is today, we have this assortment of conscious creators and leaders and community facilitators. And this is something that we do on a weekly basis through these podcasts to be able to practice sharing from our heart, to be able to practice exploring and talking about the topics related to metaphysics, spirituality, consciousness, the world that we're in, that we don't always get a chance to be able to talk about, to be able to help fill up our spiritual battery, to be able to help share the stories that we are living, and to be able to help inspire one another on this path. So here within this community, this is a place for us to be able to help practice showing up for each other, practice showing up for ourselves, to practice supporting, to practice planting seeds, and to practice cultivating something here that is much more than this broadcast alone, that will ripple out into our daily actions and the way we carry ourselves. So that will be part of the topic that we'll be exploring tonight. And again, in terms of like, what does it mean to be a spiritual being? What does it mean to be a light worker? What does it mean to be a light guardian to you personally? So already seeing some 777s in the chat, excited to be able to have some people again stepping on stage. And again, this is a very experimental version of the broadcast that we're doing here, very similar to kind of like what we've seen recently over the past several months with the popularity of Clubhouse. But at the same time, what's really cool is that this format is actually going back all the way to the origins of what Paradigm Shift Central broadcasts were when they first started, which was Paradigm Shift Radio. So again, the Paradigm Shift Radio broadcast or podcast that I started way back in 2012 with the same intentions, to be able to practice talking about metaphysics, spirituality, consciousness, and building a community and encouraging people to be the change they wish to see. And now here we are, kind of like gone full, not even circle, but more like a helix that's continuing to spiral up is the way I see it. But I'm really excited to be able to create this format. Again, because, you know, we here as the leading members, it's great for us to be up on stage. It's great for us to be able to practice talking. But at the same time, it's super, super powerful for us as a community to be able to create the opportunity for people in the audience who aren't currently leading members to still be able to practice coming on stage, to practice sharing inspiration, to practice sharing from their heart what's important to them, and to be able to feel supported in the process of doing so. So simply by you listening and being a part of this discussion, not only are you receiving, but you're also giving the active support to the other speakers here within the community. And everybody here, regardless of whether or not you fully realize it, has the power to inspire, even just by simply being your authentic self. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already yet, be sure to join into the Discord. That's the best way to be able to connect with the community, the ongoing conscious events that we have, not only through the broadcast that I'm hosting, but also through the other leading members, what they're creating within the community, as well as content, as well as the ongoing support that we have for conscious creators. So definitely be sure to connect to the Discord there. You can download that on mobile. You can connect to it on desktop at the same time. And again, that's where you can join on air to be able to take part in the broadcast as a speaker a little bit later. So we'll hang out here with our leading members, and then we'll invite some people on stage here. So in the meantime, you can listen on YouTube, but you can also listen on Discord at the same time. So that's actually like kind of a new feature. In the future, when we're doing these live stage, you could literally listen on Discord and like put your phone, like turn the video off, put it in your pocket and go for a walk, you know, whereas opposed to YouTube, you have to like keep the video open. So there's another way to be able to listen in there. And again, this is really a test broadcast. We're entering new territory. So thank you again, everyone, for holding space for us as we try something out. And ultimately, this will be something that we have the intention to continue doing. So we'll do another one of these next week. So if you enjoy this broadcast, please feel free to tell your friends. And this is designed to be like a gathering of light workers, a gathering of people helping assist with the shift in consciousness as we continue to build this collective community and continue to inspire people to choose to be the change they wish to see in the world, as we've said. Quick notes, if the audio and the video are a little bit out of sync, we're aware of that. We'll get that kind of like dialed in as we go. It's just kind of like one of the technical issues of us kind of like creating a format like this. It's a little bit complex. And again, if you're interested in not only supporting the project further, but want to get more involved as a leading member, definitely check out the Patreon. That's where you can join with an $11 monthly membership. That's where you can get involved with the community by joining on air for these podcasts, full access to the Discord, joining our work periods for conscious creators, access to me as a conscious media creation coach, and again, some awesome connections, collaboration, and support opportunities to be able to help assist you in your journey as a shifter, be it a conscious creator, be it a community facilitator, or simply just being who you are. It is all equally appreciated, and we again thank everyone so much for being involved in the community and supporting in any way that that you do. So thank you again to our Patreon supporters. Thank you again to everyone. Please feel free to share this broadcast with your friend, whatever works for you to be able to help spread the word. And let's get those intentions, and let's get those vibes, and let's help tell this story together. This story of light workers and shifters and light guardians coming together to be able to help support one another and to be able to help write this story together. This story of showing up, of the dream awakening to itself, of being able to really create global community, plant seeds, and help change the world. So if you guys are ready for this, drop some 1111s in the chat, and I'm just going to give a quick run through of who our leading members are on stage, and we'll hear from them after we come back from the meditation. So again, Discord link, Patreon, and as well as the Instagram for myself and Paradigm Shift Central, all in the info down below. Please feel free to screenshot what you're watching here, post it to your IGs, tag me at Mystic Spider-Man and Paradigm Shift Central, is all equally and super appreciated to be able to help spread the word. So my name is Brendon, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon. You guys probably know me at this point, and from my left to my right, we have some of our fellow amazing leading members. We've got Becca, so let's show some love and give a nice warm welcome to Becca. Thank you so much, Becca, for joining in. We've also got Mykah joining in once again. Thank you, Mykah, for being here. And we've got Jesica Flash joining us here as well. Thank you so much, Jesica, for joining in and for your support. And we've also got Jessica C here as well, who I believe will be back on camera briefly. So with that said, let's just get right into a quick little meditation to be able to drop into our heart space. And then from there, we'll get into the discussion, which again, for today's topic, just to be able to practice, it's going to be really about being able to practice. What does it mean to be a spiritual being to you? Like, what does that mean? What does that journey entail? So allow yourself to just kind of like start thinking those ideas. And again, if you're in the audience on YouTube and you want to join on stage, connect to the Discord, raise your hand, and we'll be bringing people on stage once we've kind of gone through our initial run with our leading members. And we'll also just continue to be able to keep talking here as a community. So again, if you haven't already yet, join the Discord now and at least get ready to be able to join in on stage, and we'll prompt you for that a little bit later. So let's get into a little bit of a meditation here. So if everyone just wants to get nice and comfortable, we'll do that, and then we'll move right into the core of the topic. So thank you again, everyone, for being here, and yeah, let's have some fun. So go ahead, get yourself nice and comfortable. All right. So if you're able to do so, just taking this opportunity to be able to join us in a quick little meditation. Just finding a nice comfortable spot for your body. And as you arrive here in this moment, gently begin by closing your eyes and connecting to your breath. Soft, gentle inhales and soft, gentle exhales. As you breathe here, just allow the rhythm of your breath to naturally unfold. Allowing yourself to arrive within this present moment. Perhaps today has been a busy day, and perhaps this might be the first time that you've actually just taken this opportunity to connect with your breath. So as you are here, if you wish, gently straighten up your spine, adjust your posture, open up your chest, relax your face. And just bringing your awareness to your heart space. You can put your hands on your chest, and just bringing yourself into the space of gratitude. Gratitude for yourself, for who you are, the journey you are on, who you are as a soul, as a physical body. And just gratitude for the team, for this beautiful community. And gratitude for this space that we have created together, this sacred, intentional space to be able to help support each other as we grow. And as we breathe here, just taking this opportunity to visualize all of us just sitting in a circle. So I know we're talking about it being a stage, but the stage is still a circle. Everybody here is equal, and just take this opportunity to just see everybody who's here. Our leading members on camera, but as well as just everybody in the audience, everybody who's listening to this in the future, this beautiful team, this beautiful community. And as you just look around this circle, you see all these sacred mirrors looking back at you. And again, just allow yourself to really just be in your heart space. And we'll just take a few moments here. I'll stop talking and simply be in this moment of oneness. That's all you have to do, as you just hear in your heart, hearing gratitude. And allow yourself to just speak any words of kindness and encouragement to the people here that you see in this beautiful circle. So go ahead and just take a moment here as you continue to just close your eyes, connecting with your breath, relax, be present in this moment, and just be here for the next little bit. Go ahead and relax. Just feeling into that shared vibration, that shared frequency of love. And as you breathe here again, even just bringing awareness to your posture and just feeling within you this sensation of courage, of inspiration, of kindness, of compassion, of hope, connection, of community, whatever words resonate with you in this moment. And as you look around this circle, again, just taking this opportunity to be able to receive the love from the others here, to celebrate what it is that we're creating, to celebrate sharing our voice, listening, speaking from our heart. And what message do you have for everybody here, everybody who's tuned in, from your heart to theirs? What message of kindness do you have in this moment? Go ahead and just take a moment to be able to reflect. What would you say to everyone right now? Beautiful. Just taking a few more breaths here as we get ready to conclude this meditation. And we'll hold this visual within our mind of us in this circle, or again, you can kind of like imagine a literal stage as we get moving through this. Beautiful, chill, relaxing, inspiring atmosphere that we've created digitally, but also energetically. And so from here, we'll gently continue to keep this vibration within our hearts as we slowly, while being aware of our breath, begin to bring our awareness back to our physical body. And when you're ready, gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and slowly open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you again. And please feel free to share any comments in the YouTube, any message that came through for you in this moment, any message that you would like to be able to share with the collective. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and for adding your energy and for adding your presence. So wonderful. All right, well, that said, we'll shift into the core aspect of this broadcast as we get things rolling here. And I'll start off. And yeah, again, for anybody who wants to be able to join on stage after, we'll prompt you guys, but even just give us a 777 at any point in the chat if you got something that you feel you want to be able to share on stage, and we'll just kind of practice talking first. And we hope that in us doing so, it will inspire you. And I really do encourage people to just be able to reflect and just be like, like, what would it feel like for me to step on stage and be like, oh, that's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but at the same time, that's like really exciting. Like, think about it that way. If you could be up on stage speaking to the collective right now, like, what would you say? You have their attention. What would you say? What is important? What do they need to know? So really take an opportunity here to see this as an invitation, to see this as something that will give you the chance to be able to see yourself show up within this moment. So beautiful. All right. Again, if the audio and the video are a little bit out of sync, we'll get that switched as we go. And thank you again to those of you leaving those comments down in the chat. Please continue to help share this broadcast, and let's get ready to begin. So welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio live stage. Thank you so much, everyone, again for being here. And as we get started here, I'll step on stage as I hold the microphone and just do a quick introduction and to share a little bit about, for me, what it means to be a spiritual being, what that journey means for me. So again, without having to do too much of an introduction, my name is Brendon, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon. You guys have already gotten to know me. I help shift consciousness through helping create sacred digital space, through bringing people together, by creating inspirational conscious media, by documenting the shift in consciousness, by going out and doing free hugs when it's relative, not so much these days, and by being able to serve as a mirror for others to be able to help see themselves and to be able to help intentionally bring into people's awareness the power of story and the power of mythos and the power of being able to see themselves within those stories and helping people see the hero that they are within their own journey. And so for me, being a spiritual being, as I take this opportunity to not even like think so much ahead about it, but really just feel into my heart, what does it mean to me to be a spiritual being? For me, being a spiritual being and being spiritually aware and consciously aware is a journey of remembrance, a journey of at times losing ourselves so that we can find ourselves again. To me, being a spiritual being is a process of forgetting and remembering, awakening. It is literally the process of being able to see things through a new lens, being able to see things with not only your eyes, but to be able to see things with your heart. And being a spiritual being in today's day and age is something that I think is incredibly important to be aware of, and obviously something that not a lot of people consciously see themselves as. And even the idea of just kind of like thinking like, oh, like being a spiritual being, it's like you don't have to become aware of the fact that you are a spiritual being in order to already be a spiritual being. But even still, we have this word spirit that we put on things. But if we didn't even have words, being a spiritual being is simply being. It's simply being. It's the idea that literally everything already is spirit. And so there are people out there who, again, I think whether or not they've gotten to that point, they have the potential to be able to have something within their life shift their paradigm where they start to see things differently and they start to realize that there's more to this world. And to me, being a spiritual being is also about being able to see what is unseen, to see the connection between things that is not always within this physical dimension, to be able to tap into this ocean of energy. To me, being a spiritual being is being able to connect with love. I have this beautiful quote that I'm going to share here that I saw posted earlier today on Instagram, and it's a very, very powerful message here, and I'm just going to share this because this is very relative, and then I'll pass it over to the next person, and we'll get some more people sharing on stage about what being a spiritual being means to them. And then again, from there, we're not even just going to stay stuck on this one question. We'll really just kind of again use the stage as a chance to be able to just kind of reflect and be like, what is needed within the heart. And so one of the things I'll just say here before I even get into this quote, we have this idea, and this is actually really, 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 really powerful, really, really important, where we hear this a lot within spiritual communities, this idea of like, oh, we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I think that's great, but sometimes when people think that, they kind of lean into this idea that the purpose is to ascend, the purpose is to leave the spiritual body, the purpose is to go beyond the physical. I think that's a powerful concept, but I think what we need to focus on individually, especially now more than ever, is to focus not so much on trying to like get out of this, but to really be able to bring ourselves into this, to really be able to bring ourselves into the body. So it's this powerful idea of being able to think that it's like, yeah, like I am my spirit in a body, but my body is my spirit too. It is still a part of the continuation of the spirit. And so what does it mean to really like deepen into this experience, to really be able to learn from the lessons, to be able to see myself grow, to be able to see my flaws, to learn from them, to go through my own process of healing. And so I think that what we need to do is to really be able to like deepen ourselves into this experience of what it means to be a human. And thus, as we do so, again, I think that in itself is actually where we will find like the most powerful form of awakening. You can kind of think of like how, there's multiple ways to kind of awaken. You can kind of focus on going up, relatively speaking, but you can also focus on going in. And I think the more that we focus on going in, like that is where the true gold is. is. That is where the true treasure is. So I'll just read this real quick and then we'll pass it over to the next person. And who wants to go next? Just go ahead and put your hand up real quick. I know Flash and I know Mykah, you can always go next too. I'm sure one or the other, either or. We'll pass over to the next person, and I'm just going to read this quote here. So this is from Courtney A. Walsh. So here's the message. And if this resonates with you, if anything I say resonates with you or any other speaker, drop an 1111 in the chat. Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. That is where you came from and where you'll return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, lived through the grace of stumbling. Ooh, I just got activation sensations as I'm reading this. Demonstrated through the beauty of messing up. Often, you didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and then to rise again into remembering. But unconditional love? Stop telling that story. Love, in truth, doesn't need any adjectives. It doesn't require modifiers. It doesn't require the condition of perfection. It only asks that you show up and do your best, that you stay present and feel fully, that you shine and fly and laugh and cry and hurt and heal and fall and get back up and play and work and live and die as you. It is enough. It is plenty. And that's the end of the quote there. So yeah, very, very, very powerful quote there. And again, you know, that's a whole kind of just opens up like a whole spectrum of just like reflection and everything. And again, you know, through me being here as I get ready to just be able to pass the talking stick, I just want to really be able to say that for each and every single person here, let's really practice on falling in love. Falling, not just falling in love, but like rising in love. And rising in love with yourself, rising in love with who you share space with, and really be able to be there for each other in those moments of vulnerability. Because I think one of the most powerful things that we can do for one another is to see each other, and to see each other without it being through the lens of like a condition or an expectation, and to simply see a person for who they are, as they are in that moment, and to love them deeply in doing so, and to hold them to their best self as they continue to learn and grow. And I think as much as we can say that about the self, the last thing I'll say is that I think it's pretty obvious that that applies to the collective. And I think what we're going through right now, through these crazy, beautiful, magical times, we're going through it right now. And we really need to be able to cultivate our consciousness now more than ever, to really be able to see where we are, to hold space within our heart for what's happening for people in the world right now, and to just do our best to be able to not only take care of ourselves, but take care of others. And to, again, you know, just know that one step at a time is enough. And through being your authentic self, you inspire others to do the same. And that's how we change the world. So I'm going to pass the talking stick here. If any of that resonates with you, drop some 1111s in the chat, and I'll probably share some flowetry and some poetry a little bit later on as we, again, just kind of explore what this live stage can be. Like, this is new territory. We're just figuring it out here. So thank you guys again for playing along. Flash, did you want to go next? Give me a thumbs up there. Yeah. All right. Okay, cool. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Flash. Thank you, Flash, so much for being here. And when you're ready, go ahead and introduce yourself and anything else you feel called to share. And welcome to the Paradigm Shift Radio live stage. Go right ahead, Flash.
Thank you so much, Brendon. It's exciting to be here and trying out new stuff and learning new things. Kind of coming back to that question of, yeah, what does spirituality mean to me, or what does it mean to be a spiritual being? And definitely that thought of connection is just the most prominent. You talk about seeing other people or seeing others, and for me right now, it's also seeing that connection in everything, you know, other people, you know, the animals in my life, and here on Earth Day, like Mother Earth and everything that nature has to offer. It's those small synchronicities when I go out into nature and really listen that I've had some of the most profound understandings of myself, and through that have found better connection in my daily life with other people. It's been a long time since I've spent time just alone in nature with, no phone, no books or distractions for prolonged periods. Like for me, like a couple days, 2 to 3 days, but that's enough to really connect and understand that there's more going on within myself than just the thoughts that are racing along up here. Yeah, you spend a day out without anything, as alone as you can be, and you notice certain times the wind will come up when you're asking a question of yourself and letting that heart space open. The wind will answer you. The birds will answer you. I've seen bald eagles come when I need them to, and that's a profound energy there, profound presence. Um, so yeah, I definitely feel that connection is for me kind of an important characteristic of what it means to be a spiritual being, and that's why I've found myself here, is connecting to other people. And this platform and this environment allows me to connect with people I wouldn't get to in just an everyday kind of situation. I get to connect with people overseas, that are living their life at different times, and get a glimpse of that. And I appreciate that because it adds another layer to my understanding, and again another layer of understanding with myself. Um, and it's not always easy. It you meet lots of different people, and not everyone is, like you said, it's not always what am I trying to say exactly? It's not always perfect. It's not always love, as you may have been, as you may have thought it was, if you may have been brought up to think what love is supposed to be, but it is connection. And that's where I'm really learning to sit, is how, yeah, what are the different types of love? Like, it can be so many different things. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Jesica, so much for sharing and for speaking from your heart here on stage. And I just want to be able to quickly just take a moment here. Kiwi, I can see you on Discord. Shout out to Kiwi. He's like our first person listening on Discord. Again, we're trying new things here. And Kiwi is like my buddy, so I know who he is. Kiwi, if you want to be able to speak, even just like after the next person, go ahead and raise your hand within the Discord, and we can practice bringing you on. And we need this. We need to practice this. So let's just bring on Kiwi now. And Kiwi, he's a buddy of mine who's been a part of the Paradigm Shift Central, the Paradigm Shift London community. So again, context for those of you who are new to this, Paradigm Shift London, this is one of the many communities of Paradigm Shift that have existed across the world over the past decade. And Kiwi and I, we've had plenty of spiritual discussions. So I'm excited to be able to try this out. So let's bring Kiwi into on stage here. And again, for those of you who are listening, I hope this inspires you to maybe just be able to say like, oh, you can try something here. And Kiwi will be able to speak on stage, and then he can step down after a bit. And again, with speaking on stage, for those of you who are just kind of like a little bit nervous about this, the buffer here is that it's no video. So even if you're just kind of like closing your eyes and speaking, again, use this as a chance to be able to share from your heart, to practice communicating, and to practice perhaps going a little bit outside of your comfort zone. So this is like Clubhouse 2.0 with consciousness infused into it. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Kiwi. So Kiwi, I'm just going to bring you up on stage right now, and we'll just make sure that your audio is working, and then we'll give you a chance to be able to speak to the audience. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Kiwi as we bring Kiwi up on stage. And we'll just take a few moments here to be able to make sure it's all good. So Kiwi, go ahead. You can unmute yourself within the Discord, and we'll just make sure that it's working properly. So Kiwi, if you're there, welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio Live Stage. And we'll give, like I said, we'll give it a couple extra seconds to be able to make sure that Kiwi is all queued up and ready to go. And Kiwi, if you're not able to speak now, even just you can unmute yourself and just be like, "Oh, I'll speak in a couple minutes," if that works for you. I know you're probably doing a couple things at once here. So, Kiwi, you can probably see the mute button down at the bottom if that's what. Oh, hold on, Kiwi. Oh crap! I forgot to do the thing with that we did in the test. Kiwi, drop down from the stage and try joining again. You guys remember how we did that thing in the test run and it didn't? And now, okay, Kiwi, try raising your hand again. Let's figure this out this time. Here we go. Now it should work. It was like the push to talk thingamajig. Okay, Kiwi, you should be able to do it better now. I think. Hopefully, let's see if this can work. There we go. Okay, Kiwi, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Hooray, we can hear him. Okay, perfect. Kiwi, if you can just maybe make sure the microphone's nice and close. And yeah, Kiwi, are you ready to step up on stage and just practice sharing for a few minutes?
Yeah, I kind of came in a little bit late and distracted, so I'm not exactly sure where we're going. I'm just hearing a beautiful talk about love and how it comes in. There's so
Yeah,
many different ways in showing love and receiving love, and yeah, it gave me a little bit of a better perspective, and that's where I came in.
perfect.
I'm not sure where.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of context. One of the things, just as a prompt for people to be able to practice speaking from the start, you can practice sharing a little bit about what being a spiritual being means to you. What does it mean to be a spiritual being? What is this journey about? What is this journey of awakening? And really anything that you feel, speak with the intention to inspire. If you can kind of use that to just kind of think, like, what do people need to hear right now? Like, you have the stage, you have an audience in front of you, and there are people who are also on their spiritual journey. So maybe you can share a little bit about what you've learned from your journey of being a spiritual being, any lessons that have kind of like continued to live with you. And yeah, if you need any guidance, we're here, and you can take a break at any moment. But yeah, if that's enough, Kiwi, please feel free, and
Yeah,
you can briefly
perfect.
introduce yourself, and yeah, you can just share what being a spiritual being means to you, and anything else in your heart to speak on stage. So welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio Live Stage. Let's give some love to Kiwi. Show love. Thank you, Kiwi. Go ahead, Kiwi. The talking stage is
Thank
yours.
you. Perfect. Yeah, I'm Kiwi. I've known Brendon for, I think we did the math in the park about 9 years or so. Yeah. And yeah, we just had a lot of great talks on metaphysics and yeah, some the greatest conversations. And when I was in these rooms with these people that Brendon brought into the rooms, I always felt like if I was high without taking any kind of drugs. It was some kind of feeling. And yeah, about being a spiritual being from there. I think everyone is really a spiritual being. It's just how in tune we are able to feel. Like, I guess it's different levels or of how in tune, but everyone's spiritual being. We are all come from that way. My journey, it it started probably with dreams and having some great lucid dreams. Yeah, and the question that really set me apart one night when I was doing just delivering papers was I was wondering, what can I say about this reality that's true, that can't be argued at all? And it seemed like everything fell to the wayside after a lot of contemplation. And I realized like the only thing would be what I'm experiencing right now. Everything before and everything past could just be like implanted in my brain or stimulated some way that way, but everything comes through the now. And yeah, and i was always I was always seeking and wondering about the mysteries of the world, and I'm still always seeking and trying to learn about the mysteries. Now I'm really into alchemy, and it's just an ancient science and spiritual technology that's science of nowadays is really coming to realize as truth. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know really where to go from there, but spirituality and just seeking the truth is, I don't see anything really
Mm-hmm.
greater. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. And Kiwi, I'll just kind of we can just kind of chat here for a bit, and even if
Yeah,
any of the other speakers on stage with us, if you guys even just feel called to just chit chat for a bit, and we'll just do that. And again, at this point, for anybody who's tuned in the audience, if you're getting inspired just by the ease of Kiwi being able to jump on in and be a part of this broadcast, then now is the time for you to join the Discord and to be able to connect through the stage there and raise your hand, and we can bring you up on stage, and whether it be now or in a few moments, we'll let you know. But please feel free to go ahead and do that, and you can even connect into the Discord and then like kind of like still be listening there while watching on YouTube, whatever works. But yeah, Kiwi, I loved what you were saying there again, how it's like, being a spiritual being is in some ways being on like a quest for truth. I feel like that is like one of our responsibilities. Like the moment we stop seeking truth, it's almost as if we kind of like begin to just desaturate the purpose of the journey, so to speak. I feel like when we're stopping the seek for truth, we suddenly find ourselves kind of shifting into almost just being like a mindless consumer, kind of like a zombie. We kind of just get fed ideas and fed beliefs and fed how to thought, and suddenly next thing we know we're programmed. But I feel like kind of goes hand in hand, where if you are on the spiritual path, you have to have a very you have to develop like a critical mind where it's a curiosity that you constantly kind of like bring back, where you're questioning everything, and not necessarily from like a skeptical point of view, but more again like from this curiosity. So even within your own thoughts, it's just kind of like your thoughts might be arising within you, and then it's like, oh, like where is that thought coming from? Where is that reaction coming from? Is there truth to that, or is it kind of like something that's being amplified by another projection of a wound that I have inside of me? And some would say that everything has an element of truth to it, but like that in itself is a great discussion of just like what is truth. What is truth from the spiritual perspective? But yeah, again, I'm just kind of like practicing talking off the top of my head here. But Kiwi, like in your like, do you feel that like being a spiritual being and being on like this constant kind of like search for truth has been like, would you say that's been like a big part of it? And I mean, again, it's like what ultimate truth? Anyways, truth is like a whole topic in
yeah,
itself. But yeah, go ahead, Kiwi. Anything you have off that?
yeah. The truth leads you down to a really, really deep, deep, deep hole. Yes, it does definitely send you down a path, and as you said, we are bombarded with so many people, or I guess it's all conscious, the different kinds of consciousness trying to lead you the way they think, even when they're doing it unconsciously or consciously, and especially don't forget about obviously the media and stuff. But yeah, and to like I have kids, and that's I always kind of feel like the main one of the main things I want to teach my kids is how to be a critical thinker, not just be swayed by the first thing that comes. Like look at it and think it through and use your mind, because that's the greatest gift. You kind of have the consciousness. Um, yeah, but yeah, going through with and truth. You when you talk about how it's really truth is a very deep subject, and I think there's so many different truths. There's, I guess, as many people there are in the world, there's different truths. And I think the only way we can really kind of have a truth, to really believe in the truth, is kind of to search in the person that we trust the most in a way, which is ourselves, to go inside. Because when you get truth from kind of in the side, and then it kind of gets maybe validated in the outer world, is how I found myself to be those experiences and happenings to be truth to me, which become beliefs to be truth to me. Because that once it becomes a belief, it becomes part of who you are, your being. But yeah, that's truth is it's the quest for truth is very true about the spiritual journey, and it's like the God. I believe that's the,
Mhm.
uh, for lack of a better word, the motto of Gnosticism, which I always loved. It's
Yeah,
this
yeah.
journey for, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where again, like you start getting into the idea of, because just as you were saying Gnosticism, I was thinking about like the alchemical process of like distillation, and again, it's like
Mhm.
the like the burning away of again, like kind of like the untruths, and then you kind of like have this
Yeah.
fermentation that is the crystallized truth. And so again, this is where, going back to our topic of what does it mean to be a spiritual being, from my personal experience, but also things that have been passed on to me from people I know who have far more wisdom than myself. Again, being a spiritual being and being a human, not even just a spiritual being, but being a human, having a spiritual as a spiritual being a human, is so much about not just figuring out who you are, but figuring out who you are not. Like that in itself is like, that work is happening all the time, every single day. And so again, when it comes to changing the world, that's really like what needs to be done. It's like, yeah, it's great that we need to go out there and to stand for our rights and to protest injustice and to plant seeds and to make gardens and to invent, new technologies and to build community. That's all super super important. But again, like equally so, we need to be able to do this inner work so that we bring that awareness with us into everything else that we touch, everything else that we create, because that work will holographically be affected by the reflection of the inner work that we have done in the process. And then as we do that inner work, we'll find this degree of clarity will just naturally kind of help guide us in our ability to be able to move into those new places where the solutions will naturally be able to arise, and we'll be able to like navigate things with more grace and more ease. So again, it's kind of like this idea, a quick metaphor of removing the dust off the lens of the heart. And you can think of the heart as like an eyeball. It literally sees, and you can think of it as like there's literally dirt on the lens, and so we clear the dirt, and then we can actually begin to like not only see the world more clearly, but we can also kind of like shine our light more vibrantly. And it's the same light that has always already been there, but at different points in our life we just kind of have like more dirt on it. So the practice of unlearning and the practice of figuring out not just who we are but who we are not is a process of literally like clearing away the dirt, clearing away the husk, and really figuring out who we are at the core of our being. And that in itself, I think, is where we find true quote unquote happiness, and true, this is deep sense of being that is not, cannot be something that we attain through like material possessions and social status and social fame and everything like that. But anyways, I've been talking too much. I want to be able to keep getting some of the other leading members and other speakers up on stage. Kiwi, any other closing thoughts? And then we'll kind of we'll pass it around. And again, we'll get some. You don't have to jump off stage yet, but we'll be opening up to some of the other speakers and go from there. So Kiwi, any other relatively closing thoughts, or just anything else in this moment that, as you are on stage again, like what do people need to know? What would you want to be able to share with them in this moment? Anything else, Kiwi? Go right ahead.
I'll quickly share the dream that I shared with you. That was, yeah, reinforced a belief of my own. Like I had a dream a couple weeks ago where I was in the dream. It seemed like I was working on this puzzle for like hours or however long, and then this kind of person just came in and like told me how to fix the puzzle, and I was amazed at how they did it. I woke up and I remember that dream, and I didn't think of it at first, but then I really like was like, because I realized that that person had to have been me, because that answer, even though it seemed like it came from another person, that answer came from me. So it just reinforced that. Yeah, well, you guys can get the meaning behind it, but that's what I have to say for my closing.
Super cool. Yeah, it's all us. It's all you. It's
Yeah,
all everything. So cool. Kiwi, thank you so much, dude. Please feel free to stay up on stage, and if if
thank
we
you.
can invite you to share later, whatever works with you, and you can gently mute yourself on stage. And Kiwi, thank you again, man. Looking forward to being able to catch up in person. So awesome. Thank you, Kiwi. Beautiful. All right, let's give a nice little like round of applause from the audience for Kiwe, and it just shows some gratitude. Thank you, Kiwe, so much for being our first audience member stepping up on stage for our Paradigm Shift Radio live stage. So again, if you guys were inspired by that, you have the opportunity to be able to practice stepping up on stage here tonight as well. So if you want to join up on stage, all you have to do is be able to connect to our Discord, and you'll see the channel on the left-hand side for our live stage. Raise your hand there, and we'll bring you up on stage. It only takes a couple minutes to be able to connect, and it's incredibly worth it because once you're connected to the Discord, you'll also be synced up for other community events, content, and lots more. So let's keep things passing around. Did anybody else just even want to just like with what Kiwe was saying? Again, we can just kind of popcorn style it, as well as just giving anybody else here just a chance to kind of like speak on their from their own heart. On what they feel called to share. So quick hand for those of you on stage who okay, Jesica, Becca. Okay, let's pass over to Becca since we haven't heard from Becca just yet. So Becca, thank you so much. And when you're ready, Becca, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, and let's show some love for Becca. When you're ready, Becca, go right ahead. Whatever you feel called to share right now. So.
Hi, everyone. I'm Becca, and like I was just thinking, like, what does it mean to me to be a spiritual being? And I was thinking about like what living meant to me before I, started on this journey, and coming to the realization of that, the like for me, I'm saying like personally, the meaning to this life was one of the reasons why questioning this life is one of the reasons what brought me stress, anxiety, and depression. But then when I figured out that all we needed was love, and that love was the answer, and that's literally why we're here, is to love each other and to create connection and to be unified with everything and everyone. It was like the whole world just became brighter. And yeah, I resonate with everything that everybody's said. So I don't feel like I can like add to that, but I just wanted to share my own perception of what it meant to be spiritual, is to be connected not just with the things around us and like the love within ourselves, but to realize that we are also connected to things that we can't see, and it's powerful. It's so powerful. And I'm a parent as well, and one of my missions is to bring this kind of a realization to parents and young people like around the world, because I really do feel that it's gonna help people and it's gonna create a shift and a movement. And yeah, and it's connection again. It's just it's a savior for more reasons than people could possibly understand. And that's it from me for now.
Beautiful. Thank you, Becca. And again, we've kind of leaned into the idea of like, oh, like what does being a spiritual being mean to us and everything like that. At the same time, again, I want to be able to just give you the opportunity to literally just be able to speak. Again, from this kind of like deep place of just like, what do people need to hear right now? Like what, like again, just you have a stage, you have an opportunity to really just be able to speak whatever is on Becca's heart. If you were to just kind of think, you know, like, okay, I have a stage, and let's say like every single person in the world is kind of tuned in right now, no pressure and everything like that. You're telepathically connected to the heart of all beings. Is there anything that you feel you would want to share? Just kind of like remind people of something that's within your heart, or even, again, you know, there's no limits to this, where it's just like some people, they would step on stage, it's just like, it's like, I shall communicate my message through interpretive dance. Cha, cha, cha. Like I know, Flash, if you want to do a dance, interpretive dance for us, I know some people were just like, it's like, well, it's been a while, but I'm not against it. So, yeah, no, totally. So, but yeah, Becca, feel free. We can pass it back to you again. You know, the stage is here to help you grow. So, is there anything else from your heart that you would like to communicate? Please, by all means.
Yeah, there's one thing that's really stuck with me, that because I did a live for Happy Hearts House earlier on similar topics that we're discussing now. And one thing stuck with me that I think it's probably going to change a lot of things around me. And I want to share that with anybody that's like tuning in today or might tune in at a later stage. A friend of mine called Carmella shared a statement, and it said, oh, I've forgotten it now. See? Forgotten. It was like, I can't even go off screen to check. She sent it me in a message. We'll come back to it.
Okay,
We'll
so
come
we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Is that, we'll do that then? Okay, cool. Does Mykah, is like Carmella right next to you? Should we just like cue Carmella? Should we do like call a friend? Is this like, we'll use our lifeline here? Carmella, go ahead. You guys, Mykah, go ahead and unmute your microphone. You and Becca can just kind of chat here real quick on stage
You
together.
grow
So
through what you go through.
say that again,
Pardon?
Carmella.
You grow through what you go through.
Yes, you grow
Okay.
through what you go through. Yes,
Cool,
yes,
cool.
it's so powerful. So yeah, if anything, I think that people need to hear that far and wide. And also, like, the one thing that Happy Hearts House like is built on is living with love and learning to love living. So yeah, my words of wisdom for today.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you, Becca, for being on stage with us and for sharing from your heart. And yeah, thank you again for everybody, for everything that you do. And again, you know, we'll make sure that we include the links for the creators, so you can find Becca at a Spiritual Divine Unicorn on Instagram, and also be sure to check out the community project Happy Hearts House, also on Instagram, that Becca is one of the facilitators for, and one of the many amazing communities that we have linked up through Paradigm Shift Central. So thank you, Becca, and look forward to being able to hear more as we go. So beautiful. Okay, let's keep things going along. Mykah, Carmella, you guys want to? We'll go after that, and then Jesica, if you want to jump in after that. And then again, for anybody here who is also tuned in right now is the time for us to be able to invite some more people from the audience to be able to join up on stage. So if you are tuning in on YouTube, again, just to be able to center the room here, Paradigm Shift Radio live stage, this is an opportunity for you, the audience member, as well as the leading members, to be able to step on stage, to be able to share from your heart. You can talk a bit about what it means to be a spiritual being, as well as just any message of inspiration that you would like to be able to practice communicating. Even if you got some poetry or some flowetry, anything that you feel called to share, this is an opportunity for you. We're holding space for it. And yeah, let's keep having fun and inspiring each other. And we'll keep the broadcast going for probably about, maybe give or take, another 45 minutes, close to an hour, and we'll go from there. So with that said, we'll pass it over to Mykah, and as well as Carmella coming in. And just make sure, Mykah, we'll double check your microphone as we go. So Mykah, you ready? Thumbs up on that. Yep. Okay. All right. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Mykah and Carmella as we welcome them onto the Paradigm Shift Radio live stage. Welcome, welcome, welcome. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
And yep, Carmella's here with me. First, I just want to express gratitude to everyone that's present with us. It's so beautiful to share this space with you all, and to hear your expression of where you are in life, right? Because that's when we connect in these spaces and we listen to people talk, right? We are listening to them quite literally create their experience right before us. And then with that, we can see how they build the reality around them. And I think that that's a beautiful thing that we all get to share, with our soul, because we're all fragments of one whole soul too. We have our own soul, and then we're a collective soul as well. So I know that kind of like really stuck out to my heart. And then we were talking about y'all were talking about truths, right? And like how it's such a deep topic, and it really is. But something that struck out to me, and it just so happened to be my a book that I have called the Kabbalion, was kind of laying there, and it really it quite literally said, "Hey, pick me up. I have something in here," and it brought me to the chapter on polarity. And the Kabbalion states, everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truths. All all paradoxes may be reconciled. And I think that that's really cool because when it talks about all truths but half truths, Kiwi, you were talking about how like our truth is really from our own perception. So it takes everyone's perception to build the complete truth of the whole picture in which we're experiencing. And I kind of see that as the purpose of being a spiritual being on planet Earth right now, and kind of us expressing our perceptions and sharing these spaces, and like Becca was talking about connecting and creating that community like Brendon's been doing for 10 plus years. It's really beautiful to see that like start to come through and start to really take hold of the consciousness of Earth, and it's starting to be reflected in these spaces becoming more and more prevalent, and the people that are showing up too. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. And really, like, being a spiritual being is about being yourself, and like it's amazing how unconditional love came up, because that's been a topic that has been like talked about all day. A huge message, like the my partner and I did a messages from Gaia pool, and then Becca and Amanda did a live talking about unconditional love, and both messages it talked about loving yourself, and then how loving yourself unconditionally then becomes the reflection of what you see around you. You can't change your environment around you unless you change your environment within you. And that kind of goes back to the paradoxes and the polarity, right? As within, so without. So, really, the only way to change the world, because like, one person can't change the world. But if every person changes themselves, that changes the world. And I think that, like, I really think that that's what being a spiritual being is kind of about, and is about us all changing ourselves to be the best that we can be on a soul level, and be as present as we can be in every now moment, which then shifts the consciousness, because as each person becomes more present in the now, the more nows that are present means the more shift in consciousness, because we're no longer limited to a linear timeline. We then all become multidimensional beings by being present in the now. And like Brendon said earlier, the heart space is really the I, right? Like, if you live from from your heart, you're living from the quite literally, like, I see it as the all-seeing eye. Like, if you break down all of those walls and you break down all of those barriers, then all you are doing is blasting with light, and that your heart is connected to your pineal gland. And if your emotions are in check, that means all three are aligned: your emotional mind, your higher mind, and your heart mind. And your heart mind is connected to the rest, connected to your knee bone. That's what it made me want to do. But your heart is really like we're all humans and we're all connected to earth. We all stand on the same earth. And so our heart feels everyone around us, even if we aren't aware of it, because of the electromagnetic fields and the waves and just how everything is so interconnected. So yeah, that's kind of like, that's just what was on my heart. And I feel like everything's complete now. So thank you for listening and being here. And I'm just so grateful for you all.
Oh,
Do you have it?
that was so beautiful, Mykah. Thank you so much. Yeah, Carmella is invited to step on stage if they wish to as well. It's up to you, Carmella. You can always come on later. Whatever you feel is cool.
Okay. She's going to pass right now.
Cool, perfect, awesome, Mykah. That was beautiful, very well said. And yeah, again, we can just take a moment here if there's more that we just want to be able to chit chat about. Keyway, if you want to be able to unmute your microphone or anything, we can also do that. And yeah, no, I think you really just said some really beautiful things. And again, for every single person here, it's like there's a very literal journey that we can experience through the process of being able to come back to the heart. And we kind of we kind of like get into this idea of like, it's like, oh, okay, like we perceive the world through our brain, like we're our brain and everything like that. But it's like, really, like we have like multiple like intelligence centers, and our heart, as we're realizing more and more and more, is this incredible intelligence center. The heart literally is a brain, as well as like the gut. It's like your gut, your heart, and your brain. But what does it mean to like literally be able to like be in the heart and to see in the heart? And I think, again, like being able to see through the heart is being able to see with a sense of softness. Really being able to look at things in a way where, again, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where there's a gentle curiosity, there's the intention to be able to find empathy, there's the intention to seek to understand. There's the intention to be able to just like hold things in a very caring, nurturing way. And this is ultimately what a big part of like the bigger paradigm shift that is taking place. If we were to kind of like simplify it, it literally is this shift from like the mind to the heart. And in many ways, people would associate that as being, again, kind of like the shift from like the predominant male energy, which would be kind of like the logical, analytical process of thinking within the brain, to the more like intuitive, empathetic, creative, and caring energy of the heart. And so it's like we're seeing this, and we're seeing it on a micro scale, we're seeing it on a macro scale. And I love the idea that more and more people are naturally, again, just kind of like dissolving binaries of many aspects of culture. And for me personally, it's just like, man, like me just being who I am is this like naturally caring, empathetic person. And some people would be like, oh, like from their perspective, it's like, oh, it's nice to see Brendon. It's nice to see that you're like connected with like your feminine energy. And again, it's all the same energy, like the masculine energy and the feminine energy. It's not like they're actually different energies. It's literally different kind of like spectrums of the same energy, which is, again, kind of like the difference between kind of like the energies of like projecting and then the energies of receiving as well. So yeah, it's really powerful to just be able to invite more people to be able to like really see the world through the heart, which reminds me of like the story The Little Prince, where it's like there are some things within this world that are invisible to the eye that can only be seen with the heart. And that's a very powerful way. So it's like, how can we practice that, and how can we learn to do that as our default, as a regular thing? So then we develop this degree of consciousness where it's like, oh, I feel myself getting like very like analytical, and it's great. Like, it's a balance. You want to be able to have both. And I think that's the thing. Like, some people, they're like very much like kind of like male dominant thought process, and they're just like, they don't flex the feminine like energy enough to be able to be familiar with it. And I think the true power is in being able to wield both. Being able to wield like all the different aspects of the spectrum, and then being able to explore it at will, opposed to being like an unconscious slave to one end of the spectrum because of programming that we've been predisposed to and preconditioned to. So speaking of awesome people, Kristen, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm not sure if, hold on one second here. Kristen, you have to connect to the audio. Are you connected into the Discord? Yeah, she is. Okay, I think she is. Okay, Kristen, we'll bring you up on stage with... no, she isn't yet. Kristen, connect to the audio in Discord so we can bring you up on stage. This is like our first time doing it, so some of our leading members haven't figured out this part yet. So Kristen's going to connect into the Discord to be able to connect to the audio, and then we'll be able to get Kristen on stage as well. If there are any other people, again, at this point within our audience who would like to be able to speak on stage, again, I could speak here for hours, like, but honestly, that's not what I want. Like, I want to be able to invite other people to be able to speak. So we do also have, again, Jesica C, who is on stage with us, and I think we are going to have a few people joining in as well from the audience to be able to practice stepping on stage. Jesica C, would you like to be able to step on stage to be able to share next and just talk a little bit from your heart as well, and anything that you feel called to share on stage? Would you like to do that now, Jesica? We'll just check in real quick.
Yeah, I think that, what to elaborate on what you were just saying about balancing the female and the male is something that I've only over the past few years even realized, I've probably struggled with living in a man's world. But, balance is something that for some reason I've always looked for. Even since I was a teenager, I always talked about needing balance or wanting balance. So, I try to do that in my everyday life. But, the spiritual side of everything, um, I've really only been looking at life that way probably over the past year or so. I didn't really realize, hold on, I'm on a live. I didn't even really realize, um, the reasons for everything. I mean, it all does come back full circle, and it just has given me a new way to look at life and to look at everyday, simple, small, little things, um, and seeing, God in those small, simple, little things every day. So, kind of stuff helps me get through my day. But yeah, that's all I really want to say.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jesica, for joining us up on stage. Everybody here, let's show lots of love and support for Jesica for joining us up on stage. So thank you, Jesica, as well. So beautiful. All right, let's keep things moving along here, and I think I know Derek, you're tuned in right now. Derek, if you want to raise your hand to be able to come up on stage soon, go ahead and click that button, and we can bring you up here. And we also do have Kristen, who is now fully synced up through the Discord, that we can also bring up on stage. So Derek, I know we'll coordinate with you and let us know if you can join up a little bit later, Derek. That's no problem. And in the meantime, we'll invite in Kristen, one of our leading members, to be able to step on stage and to be able to share from their heart. Kristen, we were kind of talking earlier, we were just inviting people to, again, use the stage as an opportunity to be able to practice sharing a message that you want to be able to share to people. And we were kind of helping govern this by directing people towards the idea of reflecting on what does being a spiritual being mean to you from your personal experience. But really, with the purpose of the Paradigm Shift Radio live stage, it's an opportunity for you to step on stage and for you to just share from your heart a message for the audience, a message that you feel would assist them within this journey, a message that may be a reflection of how you perceive the world and any wisdom that you feel called to share. So Kristen, give me a thumbs up if you would like to be able to step on stage, and we'll do that now. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Kristen. And Kristen, when you're ready, you can gently unmute yourself within the Discord. And thank you everyone again for being here. Show love for Kristen. Yeah. And for everybody else, join that Discord and raise your hand, and you can come up on stage shortly after. So go ahead, Kristen. You can hit that unmute button in Discord, and we'll take a moment here just to be able to make sure that it's all calibrated and set up. And you should see the button at the bottom with a little microphone where you can unmute. Should be. Do you see it, Kristen? Yep. You should be able to. Thank you everyone again for joining in for our first episode of Paradigm Shift Radio as we figure out all the little bells and whistles and get things working here. So there we go. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, Kristen, welcoming you on stage. Thank you so much for being here. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Thank you guys for working me through the technology. I'm still definitely learning, so appreciate the patience on that. Yeah, really excited to be here. Super grateful to have heard everybody speaking, and all the wisdom that has been shared has been absolutely beautiful. I would love to speak on being able to. You mentioned what it is to be a spiritual being, and I know for me, one of the things that is a reoccurring theme in my life is the fact that we are limitless beings, but yet at the same time, we do experience limitations. And so, how is this something that we can work with rather than working against? And so, being able to see that we are limitless and that we can create what we wish to see in our life. It's such a beautiful, unique experience to be able to say, I'm going to dream the biggest dreams and I know that I can reach them. I know that I can see this happen in my life. And you get excited and you have all this energy and you're like, I'm going to get there. And then you come across your first block or your first like deterrence or the thing that's like the test of like, is this really going to are you sure this is what you want? Are you dedicated to this? Is this really going in the direction that you want it to go in? And so in those moments you're able to kind of stop and see like, yeah, this is going to take more work. This is going to take more effort. Is this really in alignment? And sometimes you decide it's not in alignment. And so you go off in another direction because remember, you are limitless. And then sometimes you say, no, this is what I really want. And I'm going to find the strength to overcome this obstacle, or I'm going to create new routes or different opportunities. Maybe I can come at this from a different way to be able to achieve that goal. And so for me, in my experience, it's been a lot of never giving up and continuing to set those dreams high, but also holding realistic expectations on myself. Because although I am a limitless, multidimensional spiritual being, I am also a physical human being that has lots and lots of things that I have to do to maintain, like eat and sleep and drink water and exercise and clean my space and all these things. So just really being able to find that balance between understanding and being able to put it into action and to see the progress that comes as well. It doesn't always look the way that you think it's going to look. Sometimes progress looks like you slipping back into a place of being silent and reevaluating. Sometimes progress looks like scrapping everything and starting fresh. And sometimes progress really does look like you reaching that initial goal that you set. But seeing that each outcome is beautiful and there's an amazing lesson to be learned from each opportunity that you create for yourself. Because whether it's a positive opportunity or negative opportunity, a lot of the experiences we have in life are created by our own mentality or the places that we get into. And so I don't know, I could go on, but that was what came to me in the moment. You said speak from my heart, and so that's kind of what came forward. But just seeing that, you have possibilities and to be gentle with yourself if things are not where you want them to be. Stop and see, like, if it's not where I want it to be, what is happening around me? What can I make effort towards? And what is maybe something I need to pull back from and reevaluate where you're going to put your energy moving forward. And also understanding too that like just because you dreamt of being the world's fairy princess, maybe that changes. And so maybe you now don't want to be a world fairy princess, and that's okay. It's totally okay to change your I know, right? Like I'm gonna always have my wings, but like sometimes I don't want the tiara. Anyways, so yeah, that's what came to my heart. I love you guys. I appreciate the wisdom. I just like huge shout out to Becca and Amanda for your unconditional love podcast. It was super amazing. And Mykah, I got in whenever you were speaking about duality and everything, and that was really, really powerful. So nice. Love you guys. Thank you for letting me speak and working through my technical.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen. Let's show some love for Kristen for stepping up on stage and sharing with us here tonight. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so at this point, we do have everybody on stage who is already speaking. And for those of you who are tuned in on YouTube, this is another friendly invitation for anyone to be able to join on stage. And again, if you haven't already done so, all you have to do is connect into our Discord server. You can do so on desktop, on mobile. It might take you a couple seconds just be able to set up a profile, but once you've done that, all you have to do is click the channel on the left hand side and you'll see the live stage, and then you can join on air by raising your hand. Again, it's kind of like Clubhouse style, so we'd love to be able to get a few more people from the audience on stage. Again, this is our first time kind of playing with this format, but in addition to the leading members, the intention here is to be, again, able to create the space for people who maybe haven't had the chance to be able to speak in front of an audience with this intention before. So if you feel a little bit nervous about it, if you feel a little bit curious about it, then we encourage you to lean into that and to use this as an opportunity for us to be able to for you to be able to help grow and for us to be able to help support you in doing so. So super, super cool to be able to try this, and congratulations everyone for being a part of something that I don't think this has ever really been done before. Not quite in this format. It's a little bit different, even though it's like actually old, but now it's new or something like that. I don't know. We're trying new things here. So again, if it's not this week, then be sure to tune in for future Paradigm Shift Radio live stage episodes. And as far as I know, I think we'll be doing another one next week. Can someone check real quick, because I forgot to do this? When's the full moon? Can we just double check that? Because I'm like, if the full moon is next Thursday, then we got to have like some sort of special full moon broadcast, but I'm not 100% sure when it is. Kristen's looking up when the full moon is. But again, you know, at this point, when is it?
It's the 27th.
And today is the 20. So that's basically next Thursday, correct? Ish? No. Yes? When is that? Basic math here, Brendon. Figure it out. That's like Tuesday. Yeah, it's like Tuesday or Wednesday. Oh, so I guess it's not technically a full moon by Thursday. We'll figure it out. We figure it out week to week and stuff like that. We got here. We'll get there when we get there. So awesome. All right, so let's just take a moment here. Again, you know, there's a bunch of stuff we could talk about. Again, it's Earth Day. What does it mean? What does Earth mean? What does it mean to? Oh, here's a quick paradigm shift. I some of you have already heard this, but we'll just mention it again because sometimes people haven't. The idea that like literally the word Earth is the word heart, and if you take the H off of the end of Earth and put it in front of the E, then it spells the word heart. So that's kind of like a cool little Easter egg hidden within this reality that somehow wasn't obvious. So that's pretty cool. And again, you know, speaking from my heart here, being able to celebrate Earth Day is, again, being able to really understand that there's a responsibility that we carry with us. We literally are the earth in human form. We literally are the elements in human form. We are the earth, the wind, the fire, the air, as well as the ether. It fuels us, it moves through us. And so again, you know, I really encourage everybody out of this broadcast to just be reminded that there are opportunities to be able to help be a steward of this earth, not only through our actions towards other people who are in themselves a part of this earth, but again, really just encouraging people to go out of your way to pick up some litter, to pick up some garbage. Like, how powerful is it for us to all just be able to carry that intention where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, go out of my way to be able to clean up a little bit of the trash that's left behind. And again, to be able to really create the spaces within our community where, as we tend to them, they become powerful vortexes of energy. And that's something that I've been able to experience, even just within helping my partner Lacey with helping clean our backyard, through the process of being able to do that, and then just noticing how this backyard has become this container for us to be able to like celebrate and dance and grow in, and just like feeling the inspiration to want to be able to get our hands in the dirt and start gardening and things. We have come incredibly disconnected from the earth, despite our best efforts. So again, with Earth Day, I really invite us to be able to really reflect on like, what is your connection to the earth? What is it currently, and how can you evolve it? How can you deepen it? How can you develop a conversation with it? You know, even in our morning meditations that we do on Fridays, quick reminder, we got a big team global meditation tomorrow morning, Friday, our big light guardian global meditation every Friday, 10 a.m. EDT. And within that, we like practice speaking to the heart of Gaia. So again, as I'm just kind of like listening right now, for the purpose of live stage, let's practice playing around with the idea of just kind of like checking in with our hearts. as we were talking about earlier, and just thinking, you know, like what message might the earth want to be able to share with us right now in this moment, like as if the earth was like speaking through us on stage. What do you think the earth might want to share? So if anybody here feels called to just kind of step up on stage with us, let's play around with that idea. And I'm not expecting you guys to like, it's not, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a lot. It could be like kind of like short and sweet. So who here wants to be able to take a swing at that, to take a practice at that? What message comes through your heart? Like not even just like pretending, but really feeling, what does the earth want to be able to say to us right now in this moment? So I can see everybody's like kind of like meditating right now and everything like that, getting into the zone. I'll give an opportunity here. So does anybody want to be able to step on stage and give it a swing? Mykah, do you want to give it a go? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead, Mykah. You can unmute yourself. All right. Let's bring Mykah up on stage. Go ahead, Mykah.
What's one thing that you can do for yourself in this now moment to show complete love of all aspects of yourself? Because this is a reflection of the true nature of love, of unconditional love of Mother Earth and its entire creation.
Powerful. Yes. Through, and again, that's kind of what we were talking about. It's like, it always comes back to like, to self-love. And it's like through loving ourselves, we love the earth, and through loving the earth, we love ourselves as well. So I know that sounds like kind of like woo-woo and airy-fairy and everything like that, but it really is true. There's a deep, deep, deep magical connection between ourselves and our environments. And again, you know, I think what I've noticed, I'll just say this, I'll just practice speaking on behalf of the earth. And then who wants to go next? Give me a quick heads up. Okay, Jesica, we'll pass over to you, and then Kristen. So if the earth was speaking in this moment, the earth is kind of like coming up on stage. It's like almost like practicing like channeling right now. But again, it's like a creative exercise. This is fun. We're just playing here. It's Earth Day. We have to go with it, right? It's Heart Day. Every day is Earth Day. Every day is Heart Day. And for those of you in the YouTube chat, please feel free to leave your comments and join in on stage. You guys know how to do that. So what I would say is like the earth in this moment, remember, I am medicine for you. Like the earth says this in a very, very powerful way, where it like wants us to use it in good relation. Like the earth is actually a friend. It is an ally. It has something to give us. And when we are receiving what the earth has to give, it is all there to be able to help like reconnect us with the power of our own heart. When we take from the earth, that creates a different type of relationship. So next time you pull food out of a garden, instead of just like taking the food out of the ground, think about it from the idea of receiving. Like the earth is like gifting it to you, is holding something up. But I'm not just literally talking about like literal food and things like that. I'm talking about like the actual spaces. And so think about this idea that, you know, what I feel is very powerful as spiritual beings is to become aware when we feel ourselves becoming distant from our heart. Oftentimes when we are in places where we kind of feel like bleh and stuff like that, oftentimes that is a result of us kind of being distant from our heart. And I find that when we are closer to our hearts, that is when we are in those spaces of like, whoa, I really feel connected and inspired and grateful. And so when you feel that you may be distant from your heart, use what nature has to give you, receive it. And so literally this would mean, you know, like go out into the forest bathe, literally just be in the vibrations of the trees, of natures, of sound. Go to water. Go to little waterfalls if you have them. Find a little creek. Find any form of nature, and even just be able to bring it into your space through houseplants and things like that. I think again, you know, like nature, the earth, like it wants to support us. Like that is, I'll just say this and we'll pass over to the next person. you know, we have ravaged the earth, no doubt about it, in many, many different ways. And yet, even still, the earth is still like this, like, it will still always want the best for us. Like, it's kind of like this, like, deep elder where it's just like, my child, you do not realize what you do. And if you did, you wouldn't do it. And therefore, I have deep compassion for you. And instead of being angry at you, I will continue to love you even more deeply until you awaken, until you come into a place where you realize through your own actions, instead of me having to guilt trip you, where you wake up one day and you realize, oh my goodness, what have I done? Oh my goodness, what have I done to my mother? Oh my goodness, what have I done to my friend? And so the mother, like, the earth won't say that to us, but it knows that through the journey of us moving away from our heart, it is essential in order for us to find our way back. And this is actually a very, very powerful thing that I'll just say here real quick, where actually a very, very powerful aspect of being a spiritual being is the journey of the in and the out breath. And what I mean by this is by like being like connected and then being in the illusion of separateness. And so this is an actual process where when you think about this, when the child is literally inside the mother, a literal mother, the child doesn't even really know what the mother is. It does, but it doesn't really know it. As far as it knows, the mother is its reality. The mother is its universe. Like that's what it is. It's inside the womb. It doesn't realize the mother is like this separate thing. And so it's only through this process of us being born that the baby it comes out of the mother. And then for the very first time, the child is turned around and it sees the mother through its own perception. And it's in that moment that it realizes, oh my goodness, like that's something separate. And yet it is in that process of separateness that we have to experience our way back to wholeness. So you think about it, like we were of the earth, we were in the earth, we were birthed of the earth. And now as the child, we are literally moving through this journey where we are actually becoming very separate from the earth. But again, it's never really separate. It's just the illusion of separateness. And then as we are separate, then we have the opportunity to turn back and to look and then to realize, oh my goodness, where am I? Who am I? What have I done? And who is this mother? And through that, it gives us this opportunity to really reflect on this relationship. But in the process of doing so, it also gives us the chance to be able to return back. So this is the journey of consciousness. This is the journey of falling asleep and awakening. And so that is where I feel that, through the message of the earth, it is actually being able to remind ourselves that, like even in the ways in which we have treated the earth, which are obviously not balanced, it in itself is actually leading us back to balance so much as we continue to be able to cultivate the self-consciousness, cultivate the awareness, cultivate the ability to be able to open our eyes and to see the mother that we are being held in front of. And then to consciously make that choice to be able to return ourselves back to oneness. Like that's the thing okay, I'll just say this, like that is the thing when it comes to the evolution of consciousness. This is a very, very powerful idea, is that I've talked about this before, but I'll just say it real quick, within beings, within like plants and animals and things like that, consciousness just evolves. It just evolves. It's just like a natural spiral. It's a Fibonacci. It just keeps evolving as time moves on and cycles continue. However, within the human experience, the thing that's different is that what requires the consciousness to evolve, it involves will. So this is a very, very powerful idea where it's not so much do humans have free will, but it's more so why do humans have free will? And the reason we have free will is so that we can consciously choose to evolve. We can consciously make the choice. We can consciously choose to be able to become self-aware of our actions and choose to do something different, to choose to direct our consciousness, to choose to use our brain to move ourselves in a new direction. Whereas if we are unconscious, we will continue to move through the same repeated habits. and we will continue to move ourselves separate and further away, and probably in a place where we aren't actually evolving, but we're actually moving further into stagnation. And sometimes we have to go into that place of stagnation in order to be able to have that rude awakening, and then we're prompted to be able to say, oh my goodness, what have I done? I've gone too far. Now I need to do something different. And so even still at that moment, it doesn't just happen. We have to will it. We have to consciously choose to make it happen. So again, just going back to the earth thing, and then we'll pass over to Jesica. This is a very, very powerful idea where we can see what story is happening with the earth right now, where the earth is the womb to be able to help birth our consciousness. And even though there may be parts of it that have been incredibly ravaged, there are still parts of it that are incredibly beautiful. And find those spots, make them sacred, incubate them, nurture them, make them home, reconnect with them, and receive the gifts that they have to give you. Because those gifts in turn will fuel your superpowers, will help you reconnect with the magic of your heart, thus in turn helping you show up for the community and stuff like that. If you want to change the world and you're not out there connecting with nature, good luck, but your battery is going to run dry. It will. It literally just will. Like the more, like this is kind of interesting. It's like literally, and we experience this even in like dream time, where we can exist separate from our connection with spirit, but we can only do it for so long. And then when we are separate from it for enough time, it's like we get depleted and depleted and depleted. And eventually we almost become just like a husk. We're still functioning, but we're not really living. We're not thriving. And so in the same way, where it's almost like every night when we go to dream, it's like we have to like reconnect with the spirit realm in order to wake up the next day and to do it again. So it's like on a bigger scale, it's like here we are, we're kind of like getting, it's like we're like running out of energy and we're getting fatigued, and it's just like and it's draining and straining. And it's like, what do we need to do? It's like we almost need to intentionally connect back to the dream space, connect back to the spirit realm. And we do that through our personal action, through our personal choices, through the will, and also through the understanding that it is there for us. It is there to nurture us. It is there to give us what we need. And then it charges us up, and then we can inspire us to do the same. Nature's gives you something that nothing else can give. Nothing else can give. And so I really encourage each and every single one of us to not only be stewards of the earth, but to also be allies of the earth that are here to be able to receive what it has to give us. So anyways, that's my Earth Day message. If that resonates, drop some 1111. Sorry, I went longer than I planned there. So it looks like Derek wants to be able to jump on stage real quick. So let me just double check here. Okay, Derek, I'm going to bring you up on stage real quick. Whether you got an Earth Day message or anything else, that's totally cool. So let's give a nice warm welcome here for Derek as I bring you up on stage, and then we'll pass over to Jesica shortly after. So Derek, we're going to bring you up on stage. We'll just take an extra moment here. And again, for anybody else, if you guys want to jump up on stage, we'll keep the broadcast going for probably about half hour longer, and then we'll go get close to wrapping it up. So Derek's, hold on, Derek. Wait, no. Hold on, Derek. Try that again. Invite to speak. Okay, Derek, you should be able to join up on stage. Then we'll get you up here. And yeah, Derek's just on for like probably just like a minute or two. So Derek, just do a quick sound check. Make sure we can hear you okay.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Mic check 1 2, sounding loud and clear. All right, Derek, welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio live stage. I know time is of the essence, as it always is. Please, my friend, go ahead and share what's on your heart. What message you want to share with everybody listening right now?
Greetings, friends and fam. It's been awesome listening in the background, just lurking. Oh, it's kind of nerve-wracking being on stage, even though I'm just a voice in your head. That being said, much love to everyone. I've loved hearing what everyone has to say. And even though I can't really respond to all of it, I think this ties in, and this was inspired by listening to everyone. So specifically the theme of unconditional love already came up for me, and just listening to it channeling earlier today, and then having it come up here twice is pretty synchronistic. Love the law of attraction at work. It's beautiful to witness. I wanted to tease that out a little bit in terms of removing the conditions, unconditional love being removing the conditions or qualifiers that we set for ourselves and impose on ourselves in order to allow ourselves to be joyful. And that working the other way, opening our heart, reconnecting to our sense of unity, is releasing judgment, resistance, intolerance for external conditions, which we also create and influence, and then allowing all to be, so acceptance, and looking for the good in each situation. Selective perception. So every situation we find ourselves in, every here and now is going to have contrast. There's going to be things we like and things that could be improved. And we just need to whatever we give perception to is our direction, and what we give is what we get more of. So we just need to be more selective focusers and more deliberate in our intentions, and not telling anyone what to do in order to be more heart-centered and experience more joy and more peace and more harmony with everything around us. We can do that. We can choose to by choosing what we want to pay our attention to, choosing what that which we love, what we appreciate, what we desire more of. Heart being, and then tying this into our heart. Heart is the center of our being. It's the unified field which connects all the other nodes and meridians, all the other senses. From my experience in reading, I've learned that there's one true sense, and that's feeling. And this stems from the heart and divides into all the other manifestations of perception, such as sound, such as taste, touch, smell, sight, and beyond ESP, all the mental faculties that we're just learning about now. But it all comes back to feeling. The one true sense is feeling, and we feel through our hearts primarily, first and foremost. And I've read and heard from other perspectives reflecting on humanity that heart is our strength, and it's also the first sense we're quickest to shut down to because it causes the most pain. So I think redefining our relationship to pain is a big factor in our own conscious evolution, and not being afraid of the feedback we get from feeling, because this is our true mode of perception. Without our hearts being open, we're effectively going through life blind and trying to use our other weaker senses to navigate without our intuition, without our emotional feedback resonance. Inversely, putting on the positive, when our heart's open, we're connected to all that is. And then tethering this into nature, because it is Earth Day and we're all children of this beautiful planet of Gaia. Nature, in my perspective, from my learning and tying in with what I've read and heard today, which is beautiful from all of you, thank you. Nature is the organ of divinity. It's the mode, the way by which infinite intelligence makes itself known and tangible to us in this dimension, in our physical forms. It's all the proof we ever need that there is intelligent design, that things are constantly evolving and adapting and harmonizing. And everything we know, everything we are, everything that supports and sponsors this life experience comes from nature. No exceptions. Everything in nature we can observe is connected, it's unified, it's codependent in creating this reality. And similarly, when we're connected to our hearts, we're connected to nature. Our electromagnetic fields become cleared, charged, and amplified by being in and around and of nature, digesting nature, breathing, supporting nature. We are the custodians of the earth. And a lot of us are kind of asleep on the job, but it could either be a very beautiful awakening or it could be a very abrupt, rude awakening. And the choice is individual based on where our consciousness is at. But through love, we're going to make it a more seamless transition. And our hearts are we are the generator of love, that frequency that is literally viewed as a weapon by our other members of the family who are grasping at control and trying to flail in their insecurities, trying to clamp down. They view it as a threat, but it's actually our superpower. And so I would encourage all of us to feel through the pain. The pain is where the light enters your heart, and that's our first area of growth. And don't be afraid of being vulnerable, being empathetic, being intuitive, re-expressing that sacred feminine that has been actively repressed. And love is it's the force we need to change, to transform, to bring about true substantial evolution from the micro to macro everywhere we see. With that, I think I'll end it. It's been a blessing and a gift to listen to all of you. I love these meetings, and I wish you all the best wherever you are. We're in this together, unified through love. Namaste.
Namaste. Awesome, Derek. Thank you. Thank you as always, Derek. Love just being able to hear the wisdom, the turtle wisdom that you have to share, man. And yeah, looking forward to being able to catch up soon in person, dude. Super appreciated. So awesome. All right, Derek, thank you again for dropping in while you're able to. We'll keep things moving around here, and we can pass it over to Jesica. And Jesica, please feel free, if you're ready, thumbs up, Jesica, if you're ready to be able to speak on stage still. And even if you just want, even just like, if anything I said and Derek said, if that prompted some new thoughts, whatever's on your heart right now, that's the practice. So let's give a nice warm welcome for Jesica, and we'll wrap up the broadcast in less than 30 minutes. So anybody else who wants to be able to speak on stage, this is kind of like the last call, and again, follow the Discord link to be able to do so. So Jesica, when you're ready, passing it over to you.
Thanks, Brendon, and thanks, Derek. Oh my gosh, like following that up, man, that's some deep wisdom, and it really it hits home with like a lot of stuff I'm working through right now. Working through a lot of, old judgment that's been coming up again, and trying to take that step back and look at it and kind of look at the perspective of like, why is that there? What purpose does it serve? And do I really need that to get this desired outcome? Because, but to touch back really quickly on like Earth stuff, the message I got from Earth is, I've been here forever. Like I've been here before you, and I will be here long after you. And so, this is our time, and it's our choice in this time, and we can do with it what we want. But again, in that choice, you have to be present to make it. And it's through that being here and being present that we get to like, I love that analogy of like, look back at the mother and see. So I didn't have a whole lot, but I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Flash. That's beautiful. We'll keep things kind of going around again, kind of going back to that the theme we introduced of like, what would the message of the earth be for us today in this moment? Anybody else who feels called to share? Kristen, we'll pass it over to you next. When you're ready, you can unmute yourself in Discord and go right ahead. Welcome, Kristen.
Awesome. So my message from Earth actually came in like vision of what was something that I've worked through, which might sound really silly, but spiders have always been something, like spiders in my house has always been something that kind of like scared me. And I wasn't necessarily like the kindest to the spiders that lived in my house. They may have been squishy squashed at some point in time, but over the last year, I like made it a goal to conquer that fear and to start to transport the spiders from inside my house to outside of my house. And a few days ago, I had a spider in my shower that was probably like, oh, that's exaggerating. It was like this big, but regardless, it was huge. It was a big spider, and my initial reaction was calm. It was not the knee jerk of like, oh my god, huge spider, what am I gonna do? So it was really a huge message for me of just like seeing that the little things you do matter. Like that one piece of trash that you picked up off the ground makes a difference. The choice you made to throw your trash in the, recycle, or any effort you make to improve the earth and to show love, that one seed that you plant, or the trail that you help kind of rebuild for people to be able to appropriately utilize nature in a healthy way. Every little thing that you do that may not seem like something huge, it adds up. And so just to see that even though you are one person, the one thing that you do might just change somebody's day. Like that spider now lives happily outside of my house rather than in the trash can. So, just little things you can do. They might seem big in the moment, but just knowing that you have the power to make change in each and every moment, and just being mindful of what it is that you do. It's taking that extra step of saying, I'm gonna do what I can today to actually clean my space, or be responsible with the interactions I have in nature. Or maybe I am going to go to that place where there is no grass growing, and maybe I'll throw some seeds down and see what happens. And just seeing that you hold more power than you may realize, and the little things that you do ripple out and create bigger motions as you go. So started off as a silly little vision of me pulling a spider out of my shower, but just knowing that you can conquer that fear if you feel called to it, and take baby steps. It starts somewhere. So just knowing that the task might be large, but baby steps can get you there. So that was my message.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Obviously a big fan of spider wisdom as well. A little bias there, but thank you again, everyone, for taking care of spiders, giving them a chance. I swear they're nice once you get to know them. So, anyways, we'll do a whole podcast just about spider wisdom sometime, or maybe somebody else will. But yeah, okay. Let's keep things moving along here. I did want to be able to again just throw out basically a final reminder because we're almost near the end of the broadcast. If anybody else in the audience would like to be able to step on stage, you are invited and encouraged to do so. And again, if you're already on the Discord, just connect into the live stage there, raise your hand, and we can bring you up. And we still have Kiwi up on stage, and we also have Jesica. So Jesica, see if you want to be able to share anything about a message that you feel would be coming through from the earth in this moment. Would you like to be able to share, or if there's anything else you feel called to share, Jesica, just go ahead and maybe just like put your hand up just to be able to let us know, and we can unmute you. So Jesica C, did you want to be able to share anything? Anything else? Okay. All right, totally cool. Totally
No,
cool.
I think that I'm not really thinking of like you know, the physical, like cleaning up earth. I mean, of course that's important, but I'm really realizing now that I feel that the actual earth itself has its own consciousness, and it is calling for us to go through what we're going through. But that's it. That's all I have to say.
And that's incredibly powerful. Again, just like really, really being able to shift into this idea of seeing the earth like as a living organism. Again, like the universe kind of creates things in this very beautiful way where it's kind of like bodies within bodies within bodies, and here we are, we are our own body, but the earth has its own body, and we're a part of that body. So there's a responsibility there, and yeah, I think with what you said there, Jesica, I think that's very powerful because it gives us something to be able to connect to, something to be able to relate to. It's a very powerful idea to literally think of the concept of like an entire planet as like being of like having like a personality or an identity or something to it. It's very, very, very profound. We do have Katie. I can see you in the Discord in the audience there. Katie, if you would like to be able to join on air briefly, please. You can click a button. It says to raise your hand, and if you would like to be able to jump on stage, you're more than welcome to do so. And thank you again, everyone, for just being here. And this has been a wonderful opportunity for us to just be able to connect as a team, as always, to be able to share some inspiration and to, again, not only just be able to chat about this, but to really be able to bring it back to the process of the embodiment, the process of the practical as well. So Katie has risen her hand, so we're going to bring Katie, our third official person through our Discord format, to be able to come up on stage. It's working. This is so cool. So again, this is literally like a test episode. So thank you again. And for those of you watching in the future, if you miss this live, be sure to tune in for other ones and we'll get you up on stage. So Katie, we're going to bring you up on stage, and we'll just take an extra moment here to give you a chance to be able to connect. And oh wait, hold on, Katie. I forgot to click the thing with the stuff. Okay, Katie, go ahead and try connecting again now, and you should be able to come up on stage without any issues. And Kiwi, if you wanted to share anything after Katie, you're more than welcome to as well. So Katie, we'll give you a chance to be able to unmute your microphone, and we'll test the microphone there, and we'll give you a chance to be able to share on stage. So Katie, if you can unmute your microphone, go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So cool, awesome. Well,
Perfect.
Katie, it's wonderful to have you here. Katie and I, we've run into each other again. We've all got these all the people who have been on stage tonight have all been like local friends of mine. So that's like, I don't know, that makes me cry on the inside. Katie, thank you so much for being here. And without me needing to give you too many instructions, please by all means go ahead and share from your heart anything that you would like to be able to speak about on stage. So let's show some love for Katie. So Katie, when you're ready, go right ahead.
Thank you. I'm just doing this on my phone, so I have no idea if it's working properly or not. But
it is.
I just
it's working
want
perfectly.
to.
So all good.
That's awesome. I just want to thank you for inviting me to speak on here. I've been kind of creating my own little nest of confusion, and I've been honestly pretty lost recently with all the stuff going on in the world. And I'm so glad I tuned in tonight and heard you guys all speak because, like I said, it's been very activating to remind myself of who I am and who we are. And I can really see how I kind of built stuff around me. And all I need to do is just kind of put those walls down. And I can't remember who was speaking about um, the first thing we closed off is our heart because that's where we feel the pain. And I think I've just been really afraid lately of feeling like I'm not allowed to be free. And it's taken me so far away from everything that I know I am, and I've forgotten who I am. So, you guys are all my mirrors right now, and I just wanted to thank you guys this way. And anybody else who might be feeling similar, you start researching too much and you're on your phone too much, not outside grounding and in nature or appreciating the people that you get to talk to face can really warp your perspectives. And then every day that you aren't spending time out connecting with nature is I feel like it's just kind of adding more blocks and blocks and blocks. And I find it hard to wake up and decide I'm going to make different choices today. And like Kristen was saying, it might not be a failure or something bad. It just might be that you're supposed to go in a different direction, not to beat yourself up about it. Just keep finding things that feel good to you and not get sucked into the distractions that are going on. And I just need some realness. I need to see some people. I don't want to see the four walls of my house. I need to get out and see smiles, and I need to, uh, talk to the fairies some more and frig just feel like myself again. And right now, I feel like I'm talking to myself because I can't see you guys. So I'm just going to thank you all again for being here, and I look forward to hearing what everybody else has to say. Thanks, Brendon.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Katie. Everybody here, just sending some love to Katie and for joining us and for speaking on stage tonight. And absolutely, Katie, again, this entire broadcast, this entire opportunity of us speaking here, I really invite everybody to just see this as an opportunity to just bring ourselves into our heart in this moment. Like every time we're doing these broadcasts and we're sharing these events through our community, like that's something that I've talked about numerous times, where it is like through this connection that we share, even through the digital process, through the digital space, that we have this opportunity to be able to arrive within our own hearts. And it makes it possible through the shared act of doing so, through the shared coherence, through the shared frequency, whatever you want to be able to call it. And these times that we are in right now, I think it's interesting because one of the ways that we can look at it, and this is something that I've really incorporated even during the times of my life where things have been very challenging, very turbulent, very uncertain. From my personal perspective, and again, me just speaking on stage here, there's this very, very powerful belief of being able to see things from this understanding that everything that is happening right now, like this is the quote unquote perfect reality. And when I say perfect reality, I don't mean everything's good. But what is happening right now is that this is the quote unquote perfect reality for our highest growth. And even within this process of being able to understand that, it gives us this opportunity to be able to look at what's happening now and to be able to choose to seek to find the wisdom in it, and to be able to choose to see it as a mirror and an opportunity to be able to reflect even deeper, to be able to go even deeper into our heart. And honestly, like that's where, again, like the world right now, it is challenging us. It is challenging us. It is challenging us. It is challenging us. But it is also giving us an incredibly powerful mirror and an invitation to be able to go further into our hearts and to be able to really see like what is needed, because again, in these circumstances, when we feel the disconnection that we're experiencing physically, you know, it gives us this opportunity to be able to really reflect and just be like, wow, like I do need people, I need community, I need connection, and it might not always be physical. So now we get this process to be able to practice creating it digitally, and you know, when it's relative, we do get to be able to meet up in person. And whether or not the government gives us the permission, you know, we still have the choice to be able to sovereignly make our own choices, to be able to find ways to be able to gather and everything like that, you know, obviously encouraging everybody to be able to do it in a safe way. But one of the things that I've found that through this experience with the world, and Ontario is just really, really, really weird right now and everything, and we got all these weird lockdown restrictions, where even still, even in the midst of all of these things supposedly being taken away from us, like, oh, we're going to take this way, we're going to take this way, we're going to take this way. For me, it's just kind of like, you know what, like I will still choose to be free. I will still choose to live freely. I will still choose, like, my sovereignty is something that you can't take that away from me, because that is still my choice, and I will still find a way to be able to show up with a paradigm, with an attitude, with an intention, to be able to still do my best to be able to live freely, and to still do my best to be able to, you know, like reach out to different resources to be able to receive what I need. And so again, you know, not to say that in doing so, like living freely under oppression is actually something that becomes like a muscle that we learn how to flex. And I think when it's easy for us to live freely, we almost take it for advantage, or we almost take it for granted, is what I'm saying. When it's easy for us to live freely, we're like, oh, this is awesome, this is, you know, like, it's like nobody's challenging or anything like that. But it's like, who do we become and how do we act when the challenges are here? And this is the way how I've really, for me, this has been like my saving thoughts, that motivates me, where I see the reality that I'm in right now as, I've talked about this before, it's ridiculous, it's kind of funny, it's kind of cute, but for me it works, where I see it as like this narrative and this story, where I bring it back to kind of like this seeing myself as like a hockey player within a hockey game. And what we're up against right now is like the opposing team within this game, and that's what it is. It's like this weird game, like this weird reality, and not to say it's not to be taken seriously, but in the context of a hockey game, say you're losing, and like the score on the clock is showing that like the other team's up by a few points, and there's like 5 minutes left on the clock, and you're on the other team, and you've been fighting for this game your entire season, and this is like the championship game, and this is like do or die. What are you going to do in those last 5 minutes? How are you going to feel? Are you going to just say like, oh, like we've already lost, I give up, game's over? Like, heck freaking no. What I'm going to do is that the harder the world pushes me down, the stronger I'm going to stand up, the more I am going to be able to cultivate and focus on cultivating ways, find new ways, get creative, to be able to nurture my heart, to be able to help others do the same, and to really be able to move into this place where it's just kind of reminding myself of my power and showing up with like this ferocity and this intensity and this like superhero, like just like energy that I carry within inside of me that says like, screw your stories, I'm writing my own. And my story is one in which I continue to choose to rise in power, to choose to rise in love, and I know how to do it. And it begins with me taking care of my heart. And it doesn't mean that there aren't going to be days where it's going to be challenging and hard, because yes, those days will be there, but I know what I can do. I know how to be able to connect with nature. I know how to feed myself. I know how to be able to, again, just like find the ways that are going to help bring me back to that heart space, so I can consciously get into that mindset that says, the clock's ticking, let's get some goals, let's pump up the team, let's keep pushing, and we're gonna go right until the clock hits 0, and if it's a tie game, we're taking it into overtime. So for me, it brings it back to like this mythos that I know from playing hockey as a young man. And you know, I think of like Mighty Ducks and like the big scenes in Mighty Ducks and everything like that, and there were literally days where I had to like I would skate. I would rollerblade around my parking lot listening to the Mighty Ducks soundtrack to get myself into that mode where it's just kind of like this idea where I've created this program where the more the bullshit kind of like shows itself up within society, the stronger I get, the more will I cultivate, the sharper my sword becomes. But again, that's something that requires a choice. It requires practice, and I'd be lying if I said I could do it alone, because there are days where I struggle. There are days where it's hard. There are days where I feel like I just got my butt kicked. But what brings me back, what gives me that energy, what fills my heart again is community, is connection, is our shared story, is this digital space. Like this digital space, as much as I do this for you guys, obviously it helps me, and it helps me in an incredibly powerful way where it gives me a sense of purpose, it gives me a direction, it gives me motivation in the same way that I wanted to do for you and for the people who have yet to even find out about this community, or for the people who are connecting to their own communities, and to just really, again, you know, like moving forward from Earth Day, let us remind ourselves of the resources that we have through our connection to the earth and through our connection to spirit and through the connection of the heart that will continue to give us what we need to be able to move through this. This is a process of tribulation, and we are strong enough to get through this. We are strong enough to move through this, but we can't do this alone. So look at the silver lining and what's happening right now. It's encouraging us to get more creative. It's encouraging us to come together. It's encouraging us to become more versatile, more vigilant. It's giving us the opportunity to kind of like dissolve aspects of ourselves that might not have been fully serving, and to really bring ourselves back to a simplicity, but also bring us back to a deep sense of knowing who we are and the freedom to choose who we want to be moving forward. Honestly, like moving out of this like story and into the years before, if the people who come out of it are just kind of like, yay, it's over, I'm gonna go back to my old ways, it's like, heck nah. Like I'm a version 2.0 of myself. Like this has transformed me in a powerful way, in a better way. So I think we have the choice to be able to move through this reality and to again be able to bring it back to that axiom of, it's like, of, is this happening to you or is it happening for you? And so let us reflect, and again, going back to the search for truth and the curiosity, is how do we find the ways in which this is happening for us? And it's not like it's just like, oh, it's happening for us, okay, that's great. It's like, no, what choices do we make that allow us to be able to cultivate the circumstances and to still be able to learn from it and grow from it and to deepen our love in it? I can honestly say that the last year and all this crazy stuff that's happening in the world, that this last year, as crazy as it has been the most beautiful year of my life. Without a doubt, for different reasons and different purposes. And not to say the years before that weren't awesome and beautiful. They were all beautiful too. Those were all incredibly beautiful in their own moments. But for me, my personal experience, because of like, just again, I don't know, it's a degree of awareness, it's a degree of being fortunate in some cases, but it's also been a degree of will, and it's a degree of choice. And you know, I think each and every single one of us have the ability to be able to show up and to both be gentle with ourselves and proud of ourselves at the same time, and to know that, yeah, there is still work ahead. And you do have the strength to be able to do it, and you do have the resources, and you do have the capability, and the universe wouldn't have put you on this path if you weren't strong enough to be able to move through it and to grow from it. So with that said, I'm just going to kind of like pass things around, and let's get into some like closing thoughts. And this has been a beautiful opportunity for us to really just write the story that we're creating with ourselves. And I encourage each and every single one of us to kind of get into that mindset where it's like, the more the world pushes us down, the stronger we actually get, the more we kind of like tap into this deeper infinite strength that is already within inside of our heart. Like what Derek was saying, it's like, that's what they're scared of. That's what they're scared of. That's what they're scared of. They want to disconnect you from your heart, and then they crush you. And if you're not connected to your heart, it's going to be hard to kind of like push back up from that. But as long as we are connected into our heart, that pressure is only going to make us into a diamond. And that's a very, very powerful story for us to be able to see. So I look forward to 4 or 5 years from now and being able to again, be a steward of this earth and to be a steward of this new earth. So happy Earth Day, but more so than anything, happy New Earth Day. Let us continue to move forward from this point forward with a deeper sense of purpose, inspiration, and really just reminding ourselves of the power that we all wield within our heart. Light guardians, shifters, light workers, spiritual superheroes, you are that. And you are here to be able to help change the world in some incredibly powerful ways. And it involves nothing less than you being your authentic self. So if that resonates with you guys, go ahead, drop some 1111s in the chat, and let's keep growing. Let's keep being here for each other, and let's keep telling this story. It's a beautiful story. Okay, let's just check in real quick. Who else? Leading members. Kristen, pass it over to you. When you're ready, Kristen, go right ahead.
Thank you, Brendon. I really wanted to echo the statement you made about how this past year has been one of the most beautiful. It has been such a transformation, and I think for me, one of the biggest things that has been so powerful is realizing that in every moment, I have the choice to how I choose to react. I may not be able to have the choice of what's happening around me, what decisions are being made as far as what I can interact with or where I can go or what I can do. But every single moment, I have that power within me to say, I'm going to choose to find joy. I'm going to choose to find love. I'm going to choose to share happiness in any way I can and encouragement, and if in that moment I can't even muster that, if even in that moment all I can do is say, you know what, I have the choice to be here and to be in my breath and to accept whatever emotions I have and to find a way to be at that peace and move in whatever direction I can in that moment, or to be able to be okay with just being still. And I can tell you in the last year, I have found more love than I've ever known in my whole life. I have found more authentic connections and spaces for me to be able to be myself and to express my true nature. Although in many aspects have been put many limitations, I feel more free now than I think I ever have in my life. And it's just because I really have been able to find that place within myself that is that choice that I always have in every moment. So if that can help, I hope it does. But yeah, that's my words. Love you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Let's get close to wrapping things up here. So any again, just kind of closing thoughts and anything you want to share on stage from the heart. This has been a beautiful practice here tonight. So thank you again, everyone. Moving into this, it's kind of like mysterious because it's just like, oh, like what's it going to be? But this has been beautiful. I'm very, very satisfied and happy with what we've created here tonight. And I look forward to doing this again in the future and getting more people on stage and seeing what comes out of it. So Mykah, Jesica, Flash, did either of you want to be able to share again, just kind of basically closing thoughts, gratitude, any other messages? Mykah, you want to go next? Go right ahead, Mykah, pass over to you.
I just kind of want to, I guess, caveat off of what you've said, Brendon, and what you've just said, Kristen, as well, as how like you're really starting to be able to see how where your focus of energy has been within this last while, like what seeds have you planted, that is really starting to be reflected, um, and at an even faster rate. And I think it's beautiful to be able to see the duality coexisting with one another, like those individuals who are, I guess, immersed in that, in the other way of living on the main stage, immersed in that level of consciousness, and then to see simultaneously growing alongside of this massive awakening and these communities emerging. So when people do awaken to the truth, and all of the truth that is as they do, they will have somewhere to turn and they won't have to do it alone. And I think that that's one of the most beautiful things, because us being here is showing that we have an idea that that's going to be something that's going to be needed. because we're already like, you've already started this, Brendon, in 2009, like you said earlier, like you saw this shift coming and the need for this type of space and community, because before we can put it on the ground, we have to know what to do up here, which means we have to connect to our hearts. And to connect to our hearts means we need those reflections of those individuals that are already connected to those hearts. And then the space where you can see that vulnerability and the need for it to transcend and then build that new system and that new way of being. So the old way, the old system can crumble and kind of be let go of. And that's kind of like, I think that that's absolutely beautiful to kind of have that reflection here, to see 3D and 5D existing so beautifully together, and how much like you can see chaos, but you could also see harmony simultaneously emerging. So yes, I just wanted to share that, and thank you. I have so much gratitude and so much love for everyone here.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Mykah, so much. Absolutely. Right back to you. All right, let's Flash, did you want to share anything? And I was also going to say, Keyway, if you want to share anything, you're welcome to as well before we wrap it up. Flash, do you want to share something? More than welcome to.
I mean, I don't know what else I could add to this. Has just been phenomenal, but I want to say thank you thank you everyone for getting on here. Thank you for all of the Keyway and Derek and Katie, getting on here and just practicing again. Like, that's always a really helpful reminder for me. I'm still working through a lot of fear. And one message that came to me today is like, we have to fail. It's almost more important for us to fail so that we can grow. So just, yeah, I look forward to the next time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what chapters unfold beyond this moment for our community and again the many communities connected to it. So Keyway, if you want to share anything, yeah, go ahead. I can see your mic's unmuted. Go right ahead, Keyway.
Yeah, yes. This was something that came to mind when a little bit earlier, thoughts on Earth and anything related. I did. So what came to mind is something that I learned just recently, and it was the frequency of like the magnetic kind of sound the Earth makes with the electromagnetic fields and the sound vibrations is like 7.8 hertz, which is kind of the hertz of deep meditative states. It's the hertz of like sleep to wake transition, and like meditative states has shown to provide great healing in our bodies and in like the well-being of all others. So it's like it's kind of naturally healthy for us to be in tune with the frequency of the earth, so to speak. And that's just something that came to my mind, and I thought it would be nice to share. And yes, I'm very grateful for Brendon and all of you. Wow, I'm amazed at some of the thoughts that come out of you guys. It's quite remarkable. I love it. I love you guys, and thank you.
Awesome. Keyway, thank you so much, and yeah, huge thank you for being our first like audience member up on stage and just showing what's possible here. So with that said, Jesica C, if you're here, I know you're not on camera right now, but we'll give a second if you want to be able to jump on stage. You're more than welcome to as well, Jesica. So if you are there,
I'll pass on this one.
okay, all right, thank you again, Jesica. Beautiful. All right. Okay, cool. So with that said, we'll basically get close to wrapping this up, and we'll do a little bit of a group meditation, and then we'll finish off the broadcast there. We went a little bit longer than I guess was kind of planned, but who knows what happened? Who knows what was apparently this was the plan. This is the universe's plan all along and stuff like that. But yeah, so yeah, just thank you again, everyone, for being here, and this has been such a beautiful experience, and the gratitude is so heartfelt. And let's continue to move forward here from this moment with feeling that call to want to be able to help make the world a better place, and knowing that we are capable of doing so. And again, just those simple reminders of checking in with ourselves and how we're receiving that energy and that gift from nature to be able to nurture our heart, and the other ways that nurture your heart as well. Making sure that you're taking time for yourself, making sure that you're eating well, that you're exercising, that you're sleeping, that you're drinking water, getting sunlight, making your art, journaling, any of those things without being anything too specific. Whatever works for you is totally fine. And again, just making sure that you're putting the intentions out there to really just be able to connect with those around you, offer your assistance when you can, and really just to be there to help see each other's as we all continue to grow, and just continuing to live from our heart, from a very caring, empathetic, and curious and empowered place. So we'll move into a little bit of a meditation, and then we'll conclude the broadcast. And then for the leading members on air, we can have a little bit of a after party afterwards, or just like a little decompression afterwards, whatever the case. So everybody go ahead and just get yourself nice and comfortable. And we'll just do a pretty standard little meditation here. And reminder for those of you who are tuned in now or in the future, we do have our team meditations Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. EDT. And those links are posted through the Discord. So if you haven't yet, make sure you're connected there as well. So for everybody here, just taking this moment, just allow yourself to gently close your eyes. And as you do so, just gently bring in awareness to your breath. Soft, gentle inhales, soft, gentle exhales. And as you breathe here, maybe just put your hands on your chest. Once again, just bringing yourself back to this place of gratitude for yourself, for the community, for the wisdom that's been shared tonight, for this sacred space. And even just feeling into your heart again, going back to what we started some of the discussion with, what being a spiritual being means to you. And just feeling into that beautiful experience of being able to receive others' wisdom and insights, and really just being able to find deep joy in simply being able to hold space for one another as we grow. So you can just visualize all of us just kind of sitting in a circle here, and we'll just take a moment within our own stillness, within our own silence, as you just feel into your heart space. Maybe just adjust your posture as need be. And whether you want to be able to communicate anything from your heart, or simply just be in stillness, be in that quietness that just has its own voice, and that voice is love. Allow yourself to just visually see all the people here in this circle and beyond, and just be here for the next few moments as you just gently connect with your breath and allowing this moment to just fill your heart. Go ahead. As you breathe here, just reminding yourself, your breath is the breath of the universe. Your breath is the heartbeat of the earth itself. And so gently here, we'll just imagine all of us just slowly standing up, and you can just imagine everybody just kind of coming together for a big group hug, and you can imagine yourself maybe on the edge of the hug or somewhere in the middle. And we'll just breathe here for a little bit more, and just add a gentle sway to your body if you wish, as you just feel all of us just kind of sharing in this group hug, and just kind of synchronizing into this gentle sway as a shared organism. Just feeling this love, just feeling this moment as it just fills your heart. And just breathe here just like you did before. And if you want to wrap your arms around yourself, give yourself a bit of a hug. And just taking this opportunity to be able to express anything from your heart to the heart of all beings, to the team. What do you say in this moment? What does your heart say? Even if it's just gratitude. And gently, if you want, you can just squeeze your hug just a little bit tighter. And then when you're ready, gently relax. You can imagine this hug just slowly just separating, and all of us just kind of preparing to move out into the world, carrying this vibration with us. And you just see everybody here in this circle, and maybe you can go up and give some individual hugs and thank everyone again for being here, for being in this shared space, energetically, digitally, beyond time. And just feeling this deep, deep gratitude. And just feeling just what it feels like to just be filled up with love in this moment, and excited to be able to carry it with you. May all the energy you've experienced through this broadcast continue to move on with you today, tomorrow, and the weeks still to come, as it gently nurtures your hearts. Think back to this moment at any time, and it will just reconnect you with this energy, and that energy will just gently fill your heart. And so in this moment, for all the fellow shifters and light guardians that I see, I thank you for being here with me as we continue to be stewards of this earth, to be a part of this story of rebirth. For now is the time for each of us to step up on stage, for each and every single one of us truly does have something to say. And we say it with our hearts, and we say it with our love. And as we continue to be beacons for the truth that is both below and above. And so I see you for who you are, a fractal of a bigger cosmic soul, as we continue to awaken within this dream and strive towards that true yet noble goal, to find home within our hearts, to find family within every moment. And so let us continue to move forward with this strength and this courage, for this story is ours to own it. And so the love within me sees the love within you. So thank you for being all that you are and for doing all that you do. Just take a couple more breaths here together, deep, gentle inhales. Soft, gentle exhales, bit of a sigh. Feeling the love of the earth with you. Deep, gentle inhale, one more. Nice big exhale, sigh. Slowly from here, you can gently bring your awareness back to your physical body. And when you're ready, you can gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and slowly open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. Awesome. And we'll just take a moment here, just kind of look at each other on screen again. It's like a thing that we do every now and then. Just like seeing the people in the broadcast who are tuned in the audience. Even if we can't see you on camera, we can still just like see you through our heart space. So beautiful. Did you guys have fun tonight? Was that fun? Yeah. Cool. Awesome. That's important. All right. So with that said, we'll officially conclude this broadcast. And again, just a quick reminder for everybody here, if you'd like to be able to connect with the team further, be sure to connect with the Discord. Through there, you'll not only be able to tune in for the future broadcasts on stage, but also to be able to check out all the other live broadcasts and community events that take place through Paradigm Shift Central from our featured leading members. Again, if you'd like to be able to help support the project on Patreon with a monthly contribution, that is always super appreciated. But you can also join on Patreon to be able to join as a leading member. Think of it as an investment for yourself to be able to be a part of the team at a deeper level, where you can get additional support to be able to help you stepping into your leadership, to help you with building your content to help you with facilitating communities, building broadcasts, creating digital space, and lots more. So we got a lot of amazing things to be able to help support you with through the community, and plenty more broadcasts still to come. So again, you can find the links for the creators on this episode through the information in the info for this video on YouTube after the initial broadcast. And be sure to follow on Spotify at Paradigm Shift Radio. And please feel free to just take this broadcast and maybe even just share it with one friend. That would be super appreciated. And please feel free to share it with more if you feel called. And also, if you can post your comments in the Discord afterwards with any gratitude, that is always appreciated. So let me just take a moment here, make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting. You can check out our item shop, and yeah, all the other links are in the YouTube info below. And stay tuned. We'll be back here again Thursday, 8 p.m. EDT for another exciting paradigm shifting broadcast. And we hope that this broadcast nurtures your spirit, inspires your heart, and continues to encourage you to choose to be the change that you wish to see. So fellow shifters, light workers, and light guardians, thank you. And yeah, the story continues through the love that you share. So with that said, we'll conclude the broadcast here, and just inviting fellow leading members, if you guys want to gently unmute your microphone, we'll bring up the closing music, and we'll say good night and until next time. So fellow leading members, you guys can just unmute yourself in Zoom. We'll just make it easy. Just unmute yourself in Zoom, and let's say good night. So thank you again, everyone. We love you guys. We love you. Good night. Until next time, we love you. Beautiful. Awesome. Much love, everyone. Keep it shifty, and see you in the future. Oh god. Mute everyone. Mute. We love you guys. Take care. See you soon. Special thank you to Danny Leonardo, whose music is featured at the beginning and end of this podcast. Be sure to check out more of Danny's music in the YouTube info below. Thank you, Danny.